All right, let's get right straight into the stories making the headlines on Nigeria's newspapers this morning. We're starting off strong with the Punch newspaper this morning, leading with so many interesting stories. And the big story there, federal government overshoots borrowing limit as new debt reaches 12.62 trillion naira. That's the big, bold headline on the front page of the Punch this morning. It has the following riders. Government misses revenue target by 4.9 trillion despite higher non-oil earnings. Well, does it mean we're not even making as much money as we should? Budget deficit balloons by 47% above projection. Fresh loans bankrolled 36% of 2024 spending. This is courtesy of a budget office report. But if you want more details, you'd have to look into page 2 of the Punch. And right above that headline, 2027, Tinubu challenges rivals, vows fight to finish. Would probably try to get you some of the comments made by Mr. President yesterday, bring you his voice in the course of the review. Tinubu challenges rivals, vows fight to finish. And above that, to the top strip of the Punch this morning, Appeal Court restores ADC, Atiku, Mark, and Adeleke celebrate. Appeal Court restores ADC, Atiku, Mark, and Adeleke celebrate. Well, what's the cause for the celebration, and what decision of the Appeal Court has spurred some of those celebrations? Details on page 8. Please silent as Reps ultimatum on fake agency DG expires today. Please silent. Remember, the House of Reps, through the chairman of the ad hoc committee, given the responsibility of investigating that particular fake agency saga, had given a directive to the Inspector General of Police to produce the alleged fake DG, Adeyemi, before the House committee, and today is the deadline. So let's see what happens. The police have been silent. Will he appear before the committee or not? Let's keep our fingers crossed. EFCC faces credibility questions over asset auction. Details on page 9. Tinubu orders security chiefs to fish out Kaduna killers. All right. U.S.-Iran war. Nigeria tops Africa in petrol price surge. All right. And we also have state police. Governors must control CPs. Southern Middle Belt leaders insist. That conversation is still an ongoing one. Collapsed building, 3 dead, 12 rescued as Ogun begins probe. This is actually different from the one that took place in Anambra. And it's getting out of hand at this point. Makinde unveils 2 new surveillance aircraft to combat insecurity. That's another big story. And in fact, it is the picture on the front page of the Punch. The 2 surveillance aircraft purchased by your state governor Seyi Makinde after their arrival at the upgraded Ladoke Akintola International Airport in Ibadan yesterday. We have Seyi Makinde, the governor, inside one of the aircrafts there, and he seems very elated. Seems like a very big and exciting news for people of Oyo State, particularly with the fight against insecurity. But that's the Punch for you this morning. Remember, you're part of the conversation to this particular headlines, 0906 202 9933. Rolling over to the Vanguard newspaper now.
Yes, and then from the Punch newspaper, I'll move it on to the Vanguard newspaper. Leading story on the front page of the Vanguard: deregistration of ADC orders was judicial rascality. Appeal Court says that the registration of that parties now is judicial rascality. Now, the Court of Appeal in Abuja yesterday vacated the judgment that directed the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to deregister African Democratic Congress, that's the ADC, and 4 other political parties accused of failing to meet constitutional requirements, describing Justice Peter Lifu's action as judicial rascality. And of course, other words were being said. The other parties include the Action People's Party, APP, Action Alliance, AA, Accord Party, AP, and Zenith Labour Party, ZLP. I guess that's why celebration on the punch from Adeleke and others is in order. Now, you'd recall that Justice Lifu had given the order to deregister the parties despite the order made by the appellate court on May 22nd, directing him to stay proceedings in the case pending the outcome of an appeal by the parties. But now there's been a ruling and those political parties are celebrating. I mean, elections in Osun is just weeks away. But then the writers to that story slams Justice Lifu action, verdict corrected grave miscarriage of justice. ADC says 2027 poll must be won at ballot, not in court. Article says plots to stop Adeleke thwarted, governor's camp also says. You want to read more on that story? Is on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. Still on the Vanguard now, above the nameplate. Nigeria risk losing Africa's tech investment edge. LCCI warns. That's a warning coming in right there. But you want to read more on that story is on page 910. The Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry is giving that warning that Nigeria risks losing Africa's tech investment edge. Let's get to work so we don't lose them. On page 7, banned sachet alcohol. NAFDAC uncovers hidden factories, fresh production. On page 7 of the Vanguard, Nigeria at war. Tinubu has no strategy to end it. Olawepo Hashim says. Also on the Vanguard, Nigeria loses 47% of dollar billionaires, retain 4th position in Africa. It's on page 20 of the Vanguard newspaper. The major picture on the front page of the Vanguard now, you would see Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State and the 2 surveillance aircraft purchased by the Oyo State government after their arrival at the upgraded Ladoke Akintola International Airport in Ibadan yesterday. You'd recall, and this since the arrival of this surveillance aircraft, now it's been trending online and even offline. You recall that during the abduction of the Orire pupils and teachers, there were calls to say, where are the aircraft that you purchased? At the time, the Air Vice Marshal did say they were in Lagos. And then Nigerians said, what are they doing in Lagos? We need them now. But after the successful rescue of the abductees now, we have the aircraft delivered to Oyo State. We do hope that in the coming days we'll put them to work and see better results. That's the major picture on the front page of the Vanguard. Gunman kill Army Colonel in Abuja, shoots wife. Mob kills UniJust graduate over alleged phone theft. Fresh Benue attacks leave 16 dead, many injured. That headline is quite very, very sensitive at this point. It's on page 6 of the Vanguard newspaper. And then we have Oyo receives 2 surveillance aircraft to boost security. Nigeria demands justice compensation after Afrophobic attacks, federal government says. Tinubu orders manhunt for Kaduna killers. It's on page 37. And then, of course, those are the stories you can find on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. Any of these stories you want to run with, you want to give us your thoughts, let us know your contribution. You're listening to us via the radio. It is Real 99.3 FM Abuja. And if you are connected with us live on our YouTube channel at the Real Broadcasting Network, of course, do want to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Definitely, you see the numbers displayed on the screen. Do also tweet at us on using the hashtag the newspaper review, hashtag the morning edition, so we can see your tweet at the Real Media NG on X and across all social media platforms as well. But that's the Vanguard this morning. Let us know your thoughts.
All right, up next is the Guardian newspaper this morning, leading with a story, gubernatorial candidates and parties unsettled by running mate hurdles. Gubernatorial candidates and parties unsettled by running mate hurdles. And it appears that Governor Ubasani yesterday announced who his running mate will be ahead of the elections. We expect similar announcements to emanate from other states as we inch closer to the start of campaign season in Nigeria's electoral cycle. And you can also see pictures of some nearby buildings marked for demolition and sympathizers at the site of the collapsed building on Bale Street, Ajuo in Ogun State. That was yesterday. Let's take a look at some of the other headlines. Tinubu others manhunt as northern elders decry fresh killings in region. Well, an aftermath of some of the incidents in southern Kaduna. 2027, Afenifere, Ohaneze, Middle Belt, and Pandev forge fresh alliance. What's this alliance all about? 9 million lack access to HIV treatment as new infections rise, says WHO. Also, opposition hails ruling as appeal court voids deregistration, restores ADC, and 4 others. And I think I like the way that Marina captured it on the Vanguard newspaper, that particular story on the appeal court judgment voiding the deregistration of the ADC and 4 other parties. I think he had described it as judicial rascality. Federal government to spend 46 billion on Kano Airport runway reconstruction. It's 46 billion naira, okay? That's on page 30. 2 surveillance aircraft arrive in Ibadan. I think that story is syndicated across all the papers this morning. Lagos state government moves to tighten safety standards for high-rise building.
That's the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning with the leading headline: Southern Middle Belt leaders insist on South remaining presidency or retaining presidency. It's on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune with the rider: back state police demand new constitution through federalism. That's what the Tribune is leading with on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune indeed. And also on the just above the nameplate of the Nigerian Tribune, we have Obi's one-term pact will shortchange Indigbo presidency. It's on page 22 of the Nigerian Tribune. And then 28 days after duty slash price of imported vehicles remain high, investigation uncovers that. 28 days after duty slash prices of imported vehicles remain high, investigation uncovers that. You'd remember the announcement of price slash of imported vehicles, those who are new and those who are not as brand new. There's some price reduction, but an investigation have uncovered that prices are still very much same and the changes have not been implemented. Dealers have to sell out old stock, importers say. Before they can implement the new change, the cars they've imported, they have to sell at the price so they can make profits and not run out of business. Appeal court nullifies order and deregistering ADC accord 3 others political party is on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. You want to let us know your thoughts? You can text us your, of course, contribution to that story. Repeated currency devaluation deepen poverty, ex-World Bank chief says. You want to find out the story is on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. We are stabilizing Nigeria. Tinubu tells Catholic bishops. We just had a little bit of that clip from that meeting with the bishop, with the president. Again, suspected armed raiders kill 15 in Benue. Also on page 13, page 16 of the Nigerian Tribune. The picture of Governor Makinde and the aircraft, of course, the pilots as well, making the rounds. This is syndicated across all papers this morning. It's a good development, and we are here to have it as Oyo government received 2 security surveillance aircraft. We only sat 4 times in 7 months, under Assembly members reveal. Accuses Speaker of stalling legislative activities. Provide your evidence. Oladiji challenges members. APC chairman inaugurates 292-member campaign council for Osun poll. Says election matters are very much, says election is litmus test for ruling party. Yes, indeed. That story can be found on page 22 of the Nigerian Tribune.